you hesitate, overthink, and scroll. And then you just call it, I'm not ready. My friend, that's fear. Fear is a predictive protection and an avoidance loop that's created by your nervous system to keep you safe. You have to name the loop to break it, my friend. Stop treating fear like it's your only God. When you start to treat fear like it's an invitation to the next level, because it is, and you will start to level up extremely fast. In this video, I'm going to teach you, no bullshit, how to level up extremely fast using neuroscience and some psychology mixed in there, and of course my own experience using all this. And by the end, you'll have a 3-step protocol on how to act when you are anxious so that fear stops holding you back to the previous level, and a practical framing for fear that will serve you instead of enslave you, and you will stop needing motivation, and instead you will use your nervous system to your advantage. So today I'm gonna divide this video into 3 sections for you to understand what's going on here. In the first part of the video, I'm going to explain how your nervous system works, why your nervous system is actually restraining you from the things you want to accomplish and the person you want to be and the life you want to have. And I'm going to explain how that is a reflection of your projected timeline for the rest of your life, essentially. What kind of experiences, what kind of people, what kind of opportunities are you going to be able to allow into your life as a result of the way you not only understand your nervous system and what your nervous system is actually wired for. The second half of this video is going to be strictly dedicated to self-image and your subconscious mind. They are both very closely intertwined, and self-image basically acts as the ceiling for, again, what you're able to receive. It goes hand in hand with the nervous system. The self-image part is more of in the mental plane rather than what your body is able to accept, which that's in terms of fear, and self-image is in terms of how you perceive yourself, of course. In the last part of the video, I'm going to explain the things that might hold you back without your knowledge to the next level, because there are some things that you need to be aware of that will actually secretly be pulling you back to the previous level and withhold you from the next one. And if you don't know what those are, then you're just going to be getting tossed around. So a simple idea that you need to really ground into your head is that your nervous system doesn't necessarily want to serve what you want. It just cares about your safety and your survival. That's the only 2 things it cares about. And until you understand the forces that make up your existence, then they will be controlling you without your awareness of them even controlling you. So if you can come to the realization that your nervous system has merely evolved over the course of 3 million years, not 3 million, sorry, 300 million years for survival strictly, so that we as a species could keep reproducing and spreading and being at the top of the food chain. So your nervous system likes the familiar. It associates with the familiar as, okay, this is safe territory. We know that, there's nothing here that's going to kill us or make us feel like we're inferior. And of course, the mechanism it deploys to keep you in familiar waters is fear. Who would have known? So, fear is quite literally what keeps you where you are, because your nervous system is programmed to keep you exactly where you are. It does not care about what you want. Really want you to understand that. It does not care at all. It prefers predictability over possibility every single time. And quite literally, what your nervous system is comfortable with will determine what you are able to allow into your life as possibility. If you have experienced things in the past, then you will be able to experience them again, because your nervous system is like, okay, this is familiar, so we can go ahead and experience this again. No problem, no fear, no anxiety, right? So here's something to just put into perspective how much facing your fears can actually improve the outlook on the rest of your life. So, like I said, whatever your nervous system's comfortable with is what you are going to be biologically programmed to receive from life. So, if I am super comfortable going to work every day and I know all the people, I know what to expect, my nervous system is very familiar with this job, for example, then nervous system is going to tell me, okay, you are very safe at this job. You are very comfortable here. So why move out of this, Because you'll have to go find a new job, get a scary interview, meet all the new people, and do all the new responsibilities, and it's all so scary or whatever, right? So if you allow this to basically define your decisions, then it will quite literally have you strapped to a timeline that is aligned to the version of you right now. And maybe this is like 10 years in the future, for example. You're gonna be capable and have the same self-perception as the same version of you that you started at. Fear quite literally is the wall that separates you and the potential version of yourself that broke through that wall. And if you keep that wall there and never decide to break through it, then you are just going to be strapped to this timeline. And obviously it's not exactly like that. Like, you will naturally just change over the course of that amount of time. But if you right now decide to identify a fear that's significantly holding you back and your potential, if you decide to consciously identify it, break through the fear, I drew a wall of fear as like a way for you to understand it visually. But if you decide to break through this fear by confronting it directly, then you will literally move to a new timeline, because your nervous system will no longer perceive that fear as this big, like, scary monster. You know what I'm saying? It won't demonize whatever you are afraid of, and then you will literally move to a new timeline where you are a new person who receives new things, new opportunities, a new life, essentially. It is literally the biggest obstacle for you to conquer. And if you conquer it, and if you get good at conquering it, then you can just continuously break through this wall every opportunity you get. But obviously it's not that easy. It's not that simple. There's a bunch of things that contribute to this whole timeline idea. If you break through the fear and then decide go back down, and you decide to just go back down and not stay on that new timeline, then obviously you're going to be right back where you started, and you're still going to be afraid of the thing that you conquered. You have to continuously teach your nervous system that whatever that fear is not that big of a deal, and you need to make your nervous system comfortable around that fear. You need to give it exposure, and frequent exposure at that. This is why people like comedians are able to like get up on stage all the time and not be that afraid of doing it, because they do it all the time. They practice. They do it frequently. And the more you can stay attached to this timeline instead of the previous one, then the more life is just going to give you more things that are aligned to a better version of yourself. Yo, editor Hayden here. I forgot to mention a huge part of the video in the video. So when you keep doing the act of conquering a fear, you are quite literally starting to teach your brain that, okay, every time I conquer a fear, I get more comfortable, and then I unlock a new timeline. And when you reinforce this idea by actually doing it and then actually getting the results, then your brain will start to assign lots of dopamine to the task of breaking through your fear. And then when your brain assigns all this dopamine to the act of breaking through the fear, then guess what? Then your brain associates fear with growth. It becomes an incredibly automatic thing. It's not forced. Then you start exponentially growing. It's quite a crazy thing, and people don't even realize that they can ever even achieve this because they don't even try to do it in the first place. You have to take the leap of faith and start doing it, and then guess what? Your brain will start to understand that it is gonna do a lot for you. And guess what? Neurons that wire together fire together. If you continuously show your brain, okay, fear, there's a fear right now, and then it associates that fear with the growth instead of maybe the potential negative outcomes and that you were used to associating it with. And because neurons that wire together fire together, now you're associating fear with growth instead of, any other scary things that might happen. And guess what? Fear is not the only wall that you have to break through. It's definitely a big, big, big one that will act as a compass for you to pinpoint a specific thing to actually do in the physical world. But self-image is a whole nother aspect which literally acts as a wall. And even if you break through the fear, if your self-image isn't aligned to this timeline and it's aligned to this one, then guess what? You're just bouncing straight back down to the old one. So you need to align your self-image to whatever version of you exists on that higher timeline. But, well, how do we do this? How do I perceive myself as someone who's worthy to accept all the things that this higher timeline version of myself is capable of accepting? Well, you need to understand, I'd say, two big ideas for you. This is the first idea that personally helped me a lot, and it's like literally a cheat code. Essentially, your self-image is highly subconscious, and of course you're not consciously thinking all the time about, who do I believe myself to be? Who do I believe myself to be capable of doing? And of course, the self-image is a construct that just goes straight into the subconscious mind, or even the unconscious mind sometimes. And the subconscious mind is a blind intelligence. It doesn't actually know what's going on. It just reads from a program that's in your brain, and then it just replays that program. And that's why so many people get stuck in life, is because they don't know what the hell this is, and they just treat it like a god, like some people treat fear. They're like, oh, the subconscious is my god, and I believe everything it says. I believe all the thoughts that enter my head about what it says. And literally, it's just a program that's built on past experiences. And guess what? Past experiences are aligned to the old timeline. So you need to identify the fact that who you believe yourself to be and your self-image is highly tied to your past. And if you give this self-image energy and power, then it is going to persist, because the self-image is created from the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is the blind intelligence, and the blind intelligence just agrees with whatever has most frequently happened in the past. It's like literally like if every time you have a thought about who you perceive yourself as, let's say right here, this is your old self that's connected to all of the perceptions you have of yourself from the past. Imagine all these little rocks, I don't know, just dots. Imagine all these dots are like every time you've reinforced this old perception of yourself. You've reinforced your new self like a few times, but then you're so stuck in this loop of just like obeying the subconscious mind that you just get trapped, because you give it all these rocks and pebbles and allow what it says to be true. And guess what? Whatever the subconscious mind believes is true for you. That is a bar, because your brain will literally scan reality for things that align with the subconscious mind. If you think that you are horrible at academics, if you truly believe that you are not someone that's good at academics, then your brain is going to literally scan reality and your past for reasons why this is true. And guess what? It's not true. It's just because the you in the past maybe didn't put as much effort in, or, wasn't really like focused on academics at all. It doesn't mean you suck at academics. It just means that the past version of you just happened to not care as much as maybe the version of you now consciously does. But since guess what? You are feeding the old version of yourself, that belief is just going to keep reappearing, and your brain's going to literally self-sabotage you just to reinforce what the subconscious mind thinks. So you begin to understand that the subconscious mind is literally the placebo of everything in your life, in your self-image, in the way that your brain looks around for things in reality. The subconscious mind is an ever-fulfilling prophecy. It fulfills itself. And if you start to give these pebbles to the new self by being highly conscious of what you are thinking on a day-to-day basis, then you will start to subconsciously believe that you are, in fact, this new self-image of yourself. So what do you need to do? You need to write out specifically, what do I deserve? What do I believe I should be capable of? And if you consciously reinforce these thoughts of saying, I am worthy, I am capable, I deserve whatever goal it is I want, then your brain will literally look for reasons why you deserve it. And then guess what? You're going to actually deserve it because your subconscious mind believes so. A part of the subconscious mind that a lot of people don't understand is the subconscious mind is programmed through experience. It is programmed because you go out, experience something in the world, and then it reinforces whatever that belief is, because whoever you are determines how you behave, and then how you behave determines how you experience the world. And if you keep experiencing the world from this place of the old self, of the old self-image, then the world is only going to teach you that you are that person. You have to put your foot down and say, I am this person. You affirm who you are. You write the rules, okay? You have to consciously intervene this process. You have to visualize what this new self is. Visualize you out in the world as this new self, as this new person that deserves the things that you consciously know that you deserve. And then guess what? The world will just start handing you things. I've literally experienced this myself. Whenever I started focusing my energy onto new self, and also whatever you focus on expands, quite literally. If you focus on your self-image, then your self-image will begin to expand rapidly. And as a result of expanding your self-image, your beliefs, your behaviors start changing, and then reality starts changing in respect to what you have been focusing on internally, and then it will start reinforcing the things that you are telling yourself. My experience with this is like, I started believing like, I truly deserve like everything that I could possibly want, and I am a hardworking guy. I get shit done, and I have the confidence to actually go out and get what I want. And as soon as I started truly believing that, down to the core, I started meeting people that were just handing me internship opportunities and like job opportunities, which a lot of them were like sales positions, because I was like sort of into like sales at a point, but then I like completely like drifted away from that. I don't think that's aligned to like what I truly want in this life. So I went away from that. But I totally could have had some lady offered me like a real estate position, like working for a company, and it's just like people can sense your self-image. I just hope you know that. If you truly think that you don't deserve anything, or you think you're like not that like high value of a person, then people are just going to sense it quite literally and then just reinforce it, because they don't want to deal with your inability to just go after what you want. They don't care. So not only do you have to get very specific on who you want to believe yourself to be, so that you can actually shift to that higher timeline and break through that self-image barrier, but also get very specific on the fears that are holding you back from this timeline that you really want to embody. Like literally write them down on a piece of paper. When you wake up the next morning, set an intention for the day. Write down again in a piece of paper, say, today I am going to be aware of this fear, and I'm going to consciously break through this fear and make my nervous system more comfortable around it, which will allow me to physiologically be at the next level, quite literally. And then you can do the same with the self-image. Say, today, I am setting an intention to be conscious of how I perceive myself, be aware of the stories I'm telling myself about who I am or what I'm capable of or the things I deserve. Because until you make the unconscious conscious, it's going to control your life and you'll call it fate. So if you literally don't have the willingness to look at what you believe about yourself to be true, then it's going to control you. And before I get on in this next part of the video, which will be the last big chunk of the video, you have to understand that, like I said, a whole part of this process is being aware of where you currently are. Because if you aren't willing to accept what you currently are and what you currently unconsciously believe about yourself and your unconscious fears, then you are not going to be able to even conquer them. So meditating is very important in my opinion. I understand that it doesn't work, or not that it doesn't work, or that it isn't for everyone. It doesn't serve some people as well as it does others, but for me, it serves me amazingly. So I highly recommend you start meditating. I'll probably make a video just on meditation specifically. If that's on my channel, go find it, but it isn't up as of yet, but I highly recommend you start a meditation practice. It will actually supercharge this process and you'll be able to become so much aware of what's going on in your mind so that you can enable yourself to actually go out and do the things that need to be done to make your nervous system more comfortable with this higher timeline and to align your self-image to this higher timeline. Something that you have to understand, when you start meditating, you will start to perceive your thoughts as just things. They aren't you. It's just the way your mind, it's just a way for your mind to feed you information so that you can go out and do things in the external world and get things done and respond to like threats in the external world and stuff. So thoughts are merely there just for that purpose. And when you start to observe them, you will see that there are thoughts that are more aligned to this higher timeline and being like, oh, you should do this so that you can actually benefit and do something for yourself. And then there's the monster mind, which is a part of you that's so attached to this lower timeline of yourself, and it will try to convince you of why you should stay at this lower timeline, because it itself is a conscious thing. I like to call it the ego. It is a conscious thing, and it will literally drag you down back to where you started, because it, again, is a part of your biology, which is only trying to keep you where you are right now. It doesn't want you to grow, doesn't want you to evolve, to accomplish things, to expand your boundaries. It just wants you to be comfortable. And as soon as you start detaching from the monster mind, which I like to call it because all it wants to do is drag you down, then you can choose to feed all your energy to the higher self. And then when you start feeding more and more of your energy to the higher self, then, like I said, analogy earlier, you're giving more pebbles, more rocks to the higher self, and then your subconscious mind will begin to associate with the higher self as who you are. Because right now, you probably associate yourself with this a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I've been there, don't get me wrong. You need to make this conscious distinction in your mind of, okay, is this coming from the higher self or the monster mind? And then you label it. You label the thought as, okay, is this thought serving me or is it trying to self-sabotage me? And then you will be able to act from a place of intelligence, I could say. Because your mind might be so attached to this monster mind, part of yourself, when you go out in the new world, or not in the new world, into the world, and you try to be more aligned to this new timeline, naturally, you are going to face fears, like I said. And when you face fears, it's crucial that you understand how your nervous system is actually working in that moment so that you can use it to your advantage instead of being enslaved by it. So when you start experiencing anxiety because you are confronting one of your fears directly, first, you need to name what state you're in consciously. Like I said earlier, if you can't distinguish the higher self And the monster mind, you are going to be a victim to probably the monster mind. And same thing here, if you can't name what's going on in your body consciously, then you're going to be subjected to it. So let's say you're in a new situation that you've never been. Let's say you're in a situation that you've never been in before, and your nervous system is going to label it as this is unfamiliar and therefore I am not safe. And you need to consciously label this as, okay, my amygdala is going off right now, which is the fear center of your brain. It's producing a ton of stress hormones right now. And what are these stress hormones doing? Are putting your body into a fight or flight state. As a result of that is not only making you prepared for some kind of external threat, but it is literally toning down your prefrontal cortex, which your prefrontal cortex is basically the control center of your brain. It's how you are able to direct your consciousness and actually plan, strategize, and think. And when your amygdala starts firing like this because of a situation that you're in, then your prefrontal cortex is going to not be able to work properly because your brain is literally providing more blood to areas of itself that are associated with, we need to either fight or get the heck out of here. No time for thinking, the brain is saying right now. So you need to downshift your nervous system. And the only way you can do this, you cannot think your way out of it, because your brain is saying, no more thinking. We can't think anymore. We need to do something. You need to act. And when you enter this state of, I need to act, I need to do something, you're entering the monster mind and not the higher self. And then the monster mind's going to drag you down to that timeline before. You need to downshift your nervous system so that you can gain conscious control back through your prefrontal cortex. And the only way you can do this is by taking deep breaths, by literally controlling your body and telling it, I am safe. I am okay right now. I don't need to be doing anything. So deep breaths through the nose, long exhales through the mouth. The quickest possible way you can do this is called the physiological sigh. If you do a double inhale through the nose and then a long exhale, and you only need one of them really, but I like doing 3 just to be safe. It looks something like this. It looks like and if you literally try this right now, if you do the double inhale, so it's like it's a big normal inhale, and then you top it up, you top your lungs up with another quick one, and then let that go long. If you do that right now, I guarantee you will actually just feel calmer. You'll be like, whoa, this actually just did something to my body. That's the big way to calm your nervous system down. And there's another one, which is bilateral stimulation. Your brain responds to you scanning your environment side to side. And if you scan your environment side to side, then you are basically telling your amygdala, okay, I just scanned the environment and there's no threats. I'm good. And if you do this while you're walking, it's even better. And naturally, your brain will send signals to your amygdala to okay, chill out. Time, no more freaking out right now. And then the last step is to reaffirm the higher self. So once you've calmed down by doing deep breaths, by bilateral stimulation, scanning your environment while walking, reaffirm your self-image. Okay, this is who I am. This is who I am. You align your posture to that. Sit up straight, shoulders back. You're confident, okay? As soon as you do this, then your body is sending signals to your brain saying, okay, I am this person. Then you start behaving like this person, and then external reality starts treating you as that person, and then higher self is reaffirmed. And then your nervous system gets more comfortable because you're teaching it that I am comfortable. There's nothing to be afraid of right now. And this can be applied to any situation. And what I say to people that want to say, okay, well, isn't this easy? I have to actually prove to myself that I am this person. Well, yeah, this is a part of it, and you don't need to prove to yourself. You can just allow reality to prove it to you by just being that person, because you make the rules, dude. You don't have to be a slave to your subconscious mind. I'm just saying, bro. Some people like the struggle, and which is understandable. Like, it makes their life interesting, but dude, you don't have to. You can just say, I'm this person, and then just be that person, and then let external reality reinforce that new self. Like, it's really not as complicated as most people make it out to be. Society will teach you that, oh, you need to do this, work hard, do all that. And it's like, dude, trust yourself. Don't listen to what anyone else tells you, what you need to do, how it needs to be done. Don't even be skeptical of what I'm telling you. Even like you should trust yourself more than anything. And that's what led me to understand all this in the first place, is I trusted myself. But the one thing that you should take away from this video is that the subconscious mind is literally everything. You are one giant placebo. Everything is a mental game. Everything. And as soon as you detach from the results and just focus on becoming the person that gets those results, then you will actually just get the results. Crazy, I know. It's crazy. Well, how do I know when I've reached the next level? You won't notice it like a night and day switch, but if you compare yourself to like a month ago and you look at who you were a month ago and you go, oh my God, I don't even know who that is anymore. Like, I'm actually just like, I've literally just moved on to the next level. Like, you no longer fear the things that your self a month ago feared. You will no longer identify as the self a month ago did. Those are the two big things that determine if you're able to move on to the next level. And you need to detach from the results that the next level will actually yield. Because if you are just focused on the results, then you're going to be back where you started, which is the understanding that I need to work to get those things. But if you just focus your energy on self-image and fears, and then just let the subconscious mind do the work for you, then you'll just have the things. Which is why, like, dude, big example. So many people quit the gym. Why? Why do so many people quit the gym? Because they don't identify as a person who works out. They have it in their mind, oh, I need to work. I need to work, and then I will become that person. Well, dude, that's living life from struggle. If you just decide to, okay, I'm going to switch my identity and my self-image to reflect someone that does actually work hard and likes working out and already has a six-pack, maybe even, like, is already buff. Like, if you switch your wallpaper on your phone to like a picture of some like jacked dude, then like you are going to identify as that more, and then you will actually just subconsciously be more willing to go to the gym. And then it will actually happen. Because again, whatever the subconscious mind believes to be true is true for you. If you believe life is a struggle, then it will be a struggle. If you believe it's easy and you understand the concepts that I'm teaching you right now, then it will be easy as hell for you. If you believe life is a game, then it will be a game for you. It'll be all fun and joyful. Even the sad and sucky parts, like it's all perspective. Life is a mental game. It's all mental. And one last thing for you. A lot of people will get dragged down to the previous timeline because they don't want to let go of the people, the things, the places maybe even, that are associated with that timeline. If you know that someone's going to hold you back, a certain group of people are going to hold you back from the things you could potentially become or experience in life, get rid of those people. All it takes is a simple message saying, hey dude, I don't think I should be friends with you anymore. I have a higher purpose now. Like, I need to, like, I'm going to go out and get it. You need to actually do these things. If you sit in that loop of just like being consumed by fear, then nothing's gonna change. I know it sucks, but it is the truth. Sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes you can have a nice conversation with these people and be like, you know, this is what I'm doing. If you're not on the same page as me, then we're done, you know? Like, you have to make these judgments yourself, of course. I'm not saying you should cut everyone off in your life or not. I'm just saying it is going to make it a lot harder to switch your self-image and your identity to align with what you want. Because if you're hanging out with with people that remind you of your old self, then you are just going to go back to your old self. It's that simple. So the next level does involve sacrifice. You have to sacrifice the things that are associated to the previous level in order to move on to the next level. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you. Bye.